Hey, fellow Ristopians, welcome to Ristopia. Lug Width Vigilante Part 1. Why is it Part 1? It's Part 1 because it's just going to be a bit of a rant. I've just got some watches out. I've made no effort. I haven't written any notes down. Not got any, just picked some watches up that I had handy, easily accessible, and just wanted to get this off my chest because I am interested in, I'm very interested, very interested in watches, love watches. People get all excited about, all sorts of nuances in a watch, micro adjust and crown size and bezel rotation direction and, hand design, all sorts of things, because ultimately these all look really similar, don't they? They all look really similar, apart from difference with a dive bezel or a fixed bezel. But other than that, they're generally all the same. All of these have got the crown on the same side, maybe a bit droopy there, but they're all pretty similar. Watches are pretty similar, but people, quite rightly so, fuss over the smallest detail, both externally and we haven't got any open case back watch. Oh yeah, that's open, isn't it? And internally, but lug width, lugs generally just seem to get ignored, and it not by me, but by most people, or a lot of people, and I just find it really annoying. So I wanted to talk about that. I might go into this in more detail in a more professional manner at a later date, but for now I'm just going to get it off my chest. So it's not just lug width. I particularly like 21mm lug widths, as both of these are. It doesn't actually work very well with this one, I don't think, but I'll come back to that in a minute. We've got the Tissot Gentleman, both in with a leather strap on and the bracelet it came with. Now, why do I like 21? I've got to get that out off the first. Now, so for my wrist size, 7.5 inches, the watches that I wear, which are typically, I won't say that's 40mm because it isn't, 40mm, so the kind of 39, 40mm for a kind of dressier looking watch, and then 40mm and up for a dive watch. For the type of size cases that I'm buying, 21mm often works best for me, and I've got quite a few. Now, but this also applies to the other two sizes that are nearest to that, so 19mm and 23mm, probably more, but it's mainly 21. That's the problem that the industry seems to have. It's always the 21mm lug width watch that people say, oh no, I wish it was 20. Why is it not 20? And I think people say that. I don't want to offend anyone. I know I am going to, but why do people say that? They just sort of, as soon as they see it's 21, 20, no, it should be 20. But weirdly, a lot of watches don't even mention it. A lug width is something that a lot of people don't mention. It's when the, when the Pelagos 39 came out, no one mentioned that was the first 21mm lug width watch that Tissot made that I'm aware of. If you can think of one they did before that, let me know in the comments below. I noticed it was 21mm instantly from a picture. But no reviewer really said anything about that, and quite often you can go on a manufacturer's website and it doesn't tell you what the lug width is. You have to kind of Google it and someone else will tell you. So lug width is just a weirdly ignored dimension, considering we spend so much time, talking about all the other little things, the shape of the indices and the beat rate, and well, that's probably that's an internal thing, I suppose, isn't it? But aesthetically, the surround around the date window, all of these things get scrutinized. But the lug width just gets ignored by everyone, by CEOs, by head honchos of major Swiss watch companies, and a lot of reviewers lately have, really gone on, what do I not like about watch? Oh, it's uneven lug width measurements. I don't understand why that is. The only thing people ever really say about it is it's because it's not a strap monster, whatever that. Well, I know what that is. You might like strap monsters. I think they're pathetic. I think the concept of, if you look at this Tissot, the concept of putting a 20mm lug width on that, just so that someone can take the strap off and put a 20, be able to replace it with an aftermarket strap that costs 5, 10, 20 bucks. And that strap manufacturer just can't be bothered to make a 21. They only have to make, I've mentioned 19 and 23. I suppose there's 17 in there as well. Why can't it? But it's mainly 21. Just make a 21. Why do they not make a 20? It's kind of a chicken and an egg situation. They don't make it because no one wants it. No one wants it because no one makes it. Man up, Jesus. The other thing I don't understand is why watches have got bigger over the years. So how did they go from, being a 30mm on a man, let's say, and I know, watches were originally a woman's thing, but how did they go from being 30mm and then gradually get bigger and bigger and bigger to the dinner plates, as some people call them, very rudely? I don't give a nickname to a 30mm or 32 or 34 or 36. I don't give it some sort of insulting name, but for some reason, bigger watches are called dinner plates. If you were eating your dinner off something this dimension, then, I can see why you've got a slimmer wrist, but I digress. But yeah, how did that happen? How did it go from 30mm up to, let's say, 40 here? But the lug widths didn't, the lug widths just, why are lug widths generally often even? How did that come about from the evolution of watch sizes? Surely, to me, it's just completely bizarre. Go up in 1mm increments. Why in 2024 do we have watch lug widths still? Why do we have people still wanting even increments? Jumping from a 20, I haven't got a 22 here, but jumping from a 20, the nearest I've got is this Seiko Monster, the Paddy. Love this watch. Which has what I call an oversized bracelet. So it's a 20mm lug width. I'm assuming that's 20mm. I haven't measured it. Let's have a look. 20mm. But it's got an oversized bracelet. So it kind of gives it that integrated bracelet look. But what this is the nearest I've got to a 22, which is why I'm showing you this. But why do we go from the 20 to the 22 without the 21 in the middle? Surely, to me, it makes more sense that you've got that that option in terms of design. It's interesting. I mentioned something about integrated bracelets as well, which is quite interesting to my feelings. It isn't just lug width that I'm interested in either. It's the actual width of the lug itself, and the length of the lug itself, and the position of the spring bar within the lug. Now, all of these things, I think, are massive design elements, and yet people just kind of don't seem to care. Not only do they not care, but if someone goes out of their way to design a watch that looks really good. Now, I think that the Tissot Gentleman is a fantastic dimension for me. For a 7.5-inch wrist, there's so much about this that I like, and the 21mm lug width is part of that. But so many people just don't seem to care. It's just a very odd phenomenon. Going back to integrated bracelets. So this isn't a true integrated bracelet, but it has that integrated bracelet look. Now, these are very popular at the moment, but effectively that is, what's that going to be? 24mm? Effectively it has the same look as a 24mm bracelet. Obviously the lugs would have to be wider to incorporate, but it has that look. So I find it doubly weird that people, really love integrated bracelets, but really the look is the opposite of a 20mm lug width braceleted watch, which to me looks too narrow. All micro brands. This is another thing. Let me know in the comments below. Does anyone know of a micro brand that has a 21mm lug width strap. I mean, someone said to me, well, the people that make fake watches, so if someone made a fake OP41, it would probably it would have to have 21 mil, a proper fake would have to have 21 mil lug width. Otherwise you'd be able to tell that it's not the real thing. And I get that, but I've never seen a micro brand. Let's have a look at all the micro brands. 20 mil, 20 mil, 20 mil. Although to be fair, the real Batgirl is 20 mil. They're all 20 mil. I mean, it's a micro brand lug width. And I think the world just needs to grow up. I think I'm going to sort of cut. I'm not going to go on and on and on. But yeah, so 20 mil is the micro brand lug width of choice, which I think doesn't look great. I think that the Erebus, which I believe is a 40 mil case diameter, would look better if it had 21 mil bracelet. Now, the reason that is, so let's go back to the Rolex homage. So, as I say, the real GMT Master 2 has 20 mil lug widths, which gives it very big shoulders. Now, I've sort of talked about lug, the actual width of the lug. What have we got? I think I put it away. I haven't got it here. I haven't actually got a Vanuatu, which has very thin, long lugs. It has a big lug width, but it has very long, thin lugs, and they look really odd if you put a strap on it. It doesn't look so odd if you have a bracelet because they all kind of mould into one. The whole look just kind of... But the problem is that it just has these big shoulders. But when you go to, probably a better example, when you go to the 21 mil, it means that you can have less big shoulders. Now, every watch is different, and I think my whole point here is that design the watch that looks the best it can, and if that means it needs a 21 mil lug width bracelet, then that's what you need to do. Couple more things. I said I'd come back to this Explorer. This is an Explorer 40. It's meant to be 40 mil, but it actually measures 38.5 mil. So it's 1.5 mil smaller than it should be. Now, this is 40 mil, and it measures this is 40 mil, 21 mil lug width. This is meant to be 40 mil, 21 mil lug width. Completely different sizes. This is way smaller. Now, so they upped the lug width from the Explorer 39, but it isn't 40 mil, and it to me it kind of does the opposite to what I like. It actually the case to me looks a little bit too small for the lug width, but it is what it is. This Tissot Gentleman is perfect dimensionally for me. This is the holy grail of dressier watch sizing. It's shame it doesn't have a free-fold clasp, but beggars can't be choosers. The other thing that a bigger lug width gives you is it means that you've got more option on taper. So having the extra mil at the head of the watch means that you can either have more taper or you can have a bigger clasp. This hasn't got a clasp, so that's not great. Let's go back to the Explorer. It just gives you, I think this is probably a bit too much taper, but all of these things are subjective. But the main point here, whether you agree with me or not, is that I think you've got to have 21 mil in your arsenal of watch design. You can't just exclude it because it gives you, as I say, it gives you, it stops watches having too big a shoulder. As I say, I think the Explorer 2, the Explorer 2, the GMT Master 2 is going to go to 41 mil, 21 mil soon, or 40 mil, 21 mil. But it's going to lose the 20 mil lug widths in its next, because that's what Rolex have done with various other models. So why not the GMT Master 2? But it gives you it just gives you more option in terms of design. Now, I haven't got any pictures here, but it can, as well as working fantastically, as in the case of the Tissot Gentleman, which I think would look absolutely stupid if it had 20 mil lug widths for that size case. It can work and it didn't work very well with the Rolex Explorer 40 because it isn't 40 mil. The Longines Conquest, the new Conquest, not the Hydra Conquest, the new Conquest, they've done a very odd thing. I haven't got any pictures here, but what they've done is they actually all have odd sized lug widths, which I think are 19, 21, etc. But they kind of don't match the case size of the watch. So they end up they have the worst of both worlds. And they have very big, this isn't too, these lugs are not too kind of, big, sticky out big. But on the Hydra Conquest, I think Rolexes of old had very sticky out lugs. I think was it the maxi case? They had the maxi case. They maxied the case, but they left it with skinny lug widths, which just looked wrong to me. Just didn't look right. And that's the new Longines Conquest. Weirdly, has odd-sized lug widths, so 19 and 21, but they kind of are still overly case wide, and it gives it a very odd look. Not a look that I like, but it looks quite a dated look because it looks like a Rolex maxi case. If I'm getting that right, I've never even googled what a maxi case is. I think it just meant it got a bigger case. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if I've got that completely wrong. So they've actually put the lug widths on the Hydra Conquest that people don't like, and it doesn't even look good. It looks worse. They would just look better if they had even, 20 and 22 mil lug widths with obviously 20 and 22 mil bracelets. But yeah, so, it is a bit of a minefield. No watch is perfect. This one certainly isn't. I really wish that was full. Well, I say no watch is perfect. The diameter, case dimensions for me, the Tissot Gentleman is, I think, let's do a quick wrist shot, quick pits maneuver. That to me, now they always look bigger on camera than they do in the flesh. I don't like it's a shame they don't have fully brushed bracelets, free fold clasp, and I think they could get rid of that horrible date window as well. Would be a super stunning watch then. But this to me, in terms of visually, size-wise from the front, and the crown's a nice size, is just perfect. This whole sizing thing works perfectly for me. Now, I know not everybody's got the same size wrist as me, but I do think that they should be able to have a watch that is the perfect size for them. And that might be, I don't know, it might be a 38 mil with a 19 mil lug width. But let's have these options. Don't rule out 19, 21, 23, but definitely don't rule out 21. But yeah, as I say, I do have other issues with lugs. Lugs are just ignored. That's the weird thing. People just, I don't care what the lug width is. I don't care what length it is. I don't care whether, if you're putting, I was quite lucky with this. So, if I put a leather strap on here, there isn't a massive gap there. But sometimes if you've got long lugs and you you take the bracelet off, and because when you have a bracelet, it's always got end links, so it always fits the case. Leather, not so much. You can get curved, but this is fitted to case leather, which I'm not sure is a great look. In between these two, you'd have curved end. So this is straight end, this is fitted to case, and then you can have curved end that doesn't quite fit to the case. That's my preference. That's what I like. But, if you've got very long lugs and you don't know where those Springbar holes are, this strap could be way off the case and have this really bizarre gap there. I know there is a brand that actually has two sets of holes on each side, on each lug. So one set for if you fit a bracelet, and one set if you fit a straight end strap, which I'm assuming are nearer to the case, so you haven't got that, goddamn awful gap. But yeah, really just saying, lugs, lug width of lug, and lug lengths, and Springbar holes are something that I think watch enthusiasts should be more bothered about. Or maybe it's just me. Well, I hope that made sense. Let me know if you've got any comments below all your thoughts, and have a great day. It's Sunday here in the UK. Nice sunny Sunday. Having a great day. Go down a pub in a minute. Have a roast dinner. But yeah, for now, one wrist, live it.